Hello and welcome to this video tutorial for users of Microsoft Excel. In this video we're looking at formatting worksheets in Excel. And here we have the spreadsheet we've been creating throughout the series so far. So we obviously have all our text and number entries and our calculations created. And we also have the numbers formatted with the currency formatting style. The first thing I'm going to do is deal with the problem that we have in column A, where some of our titles have obviously been cut off by entries in the next column along. And as you know, just because those entries are being cut off doesn't mean the information isn't there. For example, if I click into cell A9, you can see we see the partial title for the film there. But if you look in the formula bar, you will of course see the full entry in the cell, and we don't see it on the spreadsheet simply because column A isn't set to the right width. So that's what we're going to fix right now. There's a few ways of adjusting column width, and the easiest is probably just to move the mouse pointer so it sits between column A and B on the dividing line. And if you move the mouse pointer back and forth, you'll see it changes, and what you're looking for there is this double pointing arrow. So you see the arrow there pointing left and right. When you see that, simply click and drag, and you can see there a pop-up box appears telling you the width of the column. If it's not quite right, again you can click and drag again until you get to the width you need. So you can see there I've adjusted the column so we can now see the full titles for every movie. I'm going to undo that and show you a different way of achieving the same result. So if I click on the undo button there, and one more time because I did adjust the column width twice there, as you may have observed. So what I'm going to do now is again put the mouse pointer between the A and the B column headers, get that two-way arrow, and this time instead of clicking and dragging, I'm going to double click with the mouse. And when you double click, Excel automatically adjusts the column width to the widest entry in that column. The next thing I'd like to do is have my title a little bit larger and perhaps centered across the table. Now in column A it's clearly not centered, so perhaps I could try moving it. If you want to move a piece of content in Excel, all you need to do is move your mouse pointer to the edge of the selected cell, and you'll see there in this case I get a little hand icon. Click and drag and you'll notice that the highlighting goes around the cell to indicate where you will be moving the content to. So I might try, for example, column C, release the mouse button. That doesn't look too good, so perhaps drag it back, again put the mouse pointer on the edge of the cell, and you'll see the highlighting there around cell B1. So if I release the mouse button now, you'll see the content moves back to B1. That's a little bit more central, but I'm still not really happy with it. Now fortunately there is a command in Excel, or a tool that will help me solve the problem here. And what I'm going to do in fact is select cells A1 right across to D1. Just click and drag there. And there's a button here in the alignment section called Merge and Center. And if I click on that button, what actually happens there is that the four cells are now merged into a single cell, and my title is nicely centered above the table. Next I'm going to apply some more conventional formatting to this title. So first of all I might apply the bold formatting, and you can see in the font section here we have bold, italic, underline, and if you're not familiar with these buttons, basically they are like light switches. So if I click on the B for bold, you'll observe there the title is now a little bit stronger on the spreadsheet. Click it again and it simply takes the bold formatting away. Same with italic, click it once to apply, click again to remove. So I will click on B for bold and leave that applied. I'm also going to change the size of the title font, and there's a couple of ways I can do that. One is to use the button here in the font section, which is this A button with this upward pointing arrow, and you can see there the little tooltip appears to say increase font size, and if I click on that button it will basically increase the font size, and if you look in the number here you'll see it's going up by 2 points at a time. And should you want to reduce the font size, the button next to the increase is obviously the decrease font size, and if I click that a few times you'll see the font size decreasing. Now another way, perhaps a quick way, if you have a good idea the font size you want in terms of the number, you can simply click on the drop down arrow next to the font size number there and select what you want. So I'm going to select the number 20, click on that, and the size is applied. Moving down to the column headings here, you'll see there's an entry in column C that has been cut off, similar to what happened in column A. So you might think, well, perhaps I'll increase the width of that column. Perhaps if I double click between the C and the D and get that two-way arrow again, that will increase the width of the column. But to me, that is not a practical solution because column C is now too wide for the entries really. It looks a bit inelegant. So I'll need to look for another solution to that problem. So first of all, I will undo what I've just done so we have a consistent width on columns B, C and D. And what I want to have happen really is for the word rentals and the word quantity appear on separate lines within that cell. Click into the cell where you have the entry you want to format, and if I go to the Wrap Text button, you'll find there in the alignment section over on the right, click on Wrap Text, and that solves the problem for me by moving the word quantity onto a new line. And you might find that a better solution that allows you to keep a consistent column width for your values. Two more things I'll show you on this particular topic. One of those is how to remove wrap text, and that is as simple as clicking the button again to reverse it. And there may be occasions when you want to force text onto a new line within a cell, and there's a keyboard shortcut that will help you do that. So first of all, I need to come to the cell and I'm going to double click where I want the new line to start. If you double click and you're not quite in the right location, just use the arrow keys to relocate the cursor. And on the keyboard, I'm going to type the keyboard shortcut Alt and Enter. And that applies a line break and moves the content down to a new row. And I'm just going to press the Delete key to remove that space at the beginning of the line, press the Enter key, and I've basically achieved the same result as clicking the Wrap Text button. Next, I'm going to apply bold formatting to my column headings and my movie titles, and also the headings for rows 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16, which are basically my function titles there. And I can do that in one single action. So first of all, I need to select all the cells in row 3 there, or all the labels, should I say, the column headings. And now if I hold down the Command key on the keyboard, I can then click and drag to select the titles, keep the Command key held down, and then I can go on and select my function titles as well. So I've selected 3 different ranges of cells there, so keep in mind by holding down the Command key on the keyboard you're able to select non-adjacent cells and then apply formatting to multiple ranges should you need to do that. So with my ranges selected, I'm just going to click on the B for bold again, apply formatting to all those cells, and then if I click away by clicking into the title, you'll see there my formatting applied. When you're working with headings and subheadings, one thing that you might find useful is indenting text within a cell, and you can do that quite easily. So for example, if I wanted to indent my movie titles, I would simply select the range of cells again, come to the alignment tab, and you'll see a left pointing arrow and a right pointing arrow, and again just put the mouse pointer over, you get the tooltip appears, increase and decrease indent. So if I just click that once, and you can see the indentation now applied to the titles. Now I don't want that, so I'm going to click the decrease indent button by clicking that particular button once. And one thing I do want to do with my column headings is have them centered within the cells. So I'm going to select the 4 cells, A3 across to D3, and I'm going to have them centered horizontally and vertically. To do that, again, come back to the alignment section, and on the left hand side of that section you'll see there are 2 rows of buttons. So if I click on center text, you'll see what happens there in the cells. So there we have the content centered horizontally, and if I go to the above row, you'll see it actually goes top, middle and bottom. I'm going to choose the middle alignment, that's centering the content vertically. And that's another way you can make sure your column headings are differentiated from the content below. I'm also going to center all the values in column C and the count values in row 16. So again, I'm going to select everything, in this case from C4 down to C15. Hold down the Command key again, and I can click the 3 cells there in row 16. Come back to the alignment section and click the center text button, and that centers all my values, make it look a bit tidier. And once again, just click away anywhere to deselect and see the result. Things are looking a bit more interesting, but I'm going to apply some further formatting and this time add some colour. So first of all, I'm going to add colour to my title, my spreadsheet title, Fred's Movie Classics. Just make sure the cell is selected. Go to the font section and you'll see there the icon for fill. It's this small paint bucket tool. Again, putting the mouse pointer over it does indeed say fill colour. I'm going to click on the drop down arrow just to the right of the button, and there you'll see the range of colours I have available, and I'm going to choose a light green for my title. So in this case it says green accent 6. Click on that and the colour's applied. I'm also going to apply colour to my column headings, so I'm going to select the range of cells from A3 to D3 again, and I'd like you to observe the grid lines when I apply the colour, so keep an eye on the dividing lines between the cells. Again, come back to the drop down next to the paint bucket tool there, the fill colour tool, and instead of choosing one of the standard colours or the theme colours, I'm going to click the more colours option, and you'll see if I just move this dialog back into view, you see we have a colour wheel. Within this dialog box you also have other options for choosing different types of colours, quite a range there, including coloured pencils, so I might try and select a particular yellow I'm looking for there. That's close to what I want but not quite right. I'm going to come back to the colour wheel and I'd like to have a light yellow, so I can use this slider just to drag and make the colour perhaps a bit more light, something like that. So if I click OK now and then click away, you'll see the light yellow has been applied, but also observe that the grid lines now disappear, the dividing grid line. And that's something I'm going to fix now by selecting all the cells from A3 down to cell D10. Again, hold down the command key and I'm going to select everything from A12 down to D16. So 2 selections, and what I'm going to do here is come back to the font section. You'll see the borders button here, which in this case is immediately below the font size indicator, and click on the small drop down arrow and you get a huge range of options, and I'm simply going to select the all borders option. So click on all borders, and if I click away now, and now you can see the difference with the grid line formatting applied. And finally, I'd just like to show you how you can remove formatting from a spreadsheet. Let's say you've been given a spreadsheet and you don't like any of the formatting. You can remove it from the entire spreadsheet by first selecting all the cells, and you can do that by using a keyboard shortcut, Command and A. Command A selects all the cells. Alternatively, and if I just deselect by clicking any cell, you can also go to the button to the left of column A and above row 1. So if you go to the very top left of the spreadsheet, you can see there's a small cell and you get a black arrow pointing. If I click, that selects the entire worksheet. Now if I come across to the right side of the Home tab into the editing section, there's a clear button there, and if I click on the drop down where it says clear all, which completely erases the spreadsheet, and I've also got clear format. So if I click on clear formats, you'll see there my spreadsheet reverts to how it was when I started, more or less, apart from the column widths. That's the only thing it doesn't reverse. However, I'll click on the undo button and put all my formatting back. Just click away, click in the title there, and that completes this formatting. I hope you found something useful there, and you can apply some of these formatting tools to the spreadsheets that you're working on. But in the meantime, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.